Kiss of the Dragon, 2001. This film, directed by Chris Nahan, stands out as one of Lee's most thrilling Hollywood films. Known for his fluid and precise fighting style, Lee brings his unique brand of choreography and athleticism to the film's explosive action sequences. In this review, we'll dive into the plot, the characters, and the elements that make Kiss of the Dragon such an unforgettable action experience. The plot. The film begins with Chinese intelligence officer Liu Jian, Jet Li, being sent to Paris on a mission to apprehend a notorious drug lord. However, after a setup by corrupt French police officer, Richard Checky Cario, Liu finds himself framed for a crime he didn't commit. Betrayed by those he trusted, Liu has to fight his way through a network of corrupt police officers, criminals, and dangerous assassins to clear his name and stop the drug trade from taking over. The plot is a mix of high-octane action and espionage, with plenty of personal stakes for Jet Li's character. His journey to bring justice, rescue an innocent woman, and uncover the truth drives the film forward, providing a balance of suspense and action that keeps audiences engaged from start to finish. The characters. At the heart of Kiss of the Dragon is Jet Li's portrayal of Liu Jian, a calm yet deadly martial artist with a deep sense of honor and justice. Lee's performance is subtly emotional, showing vulnerability as he is wrongfully accused and seeks redemption. He brings a quiet intensity to his character, showing his dedication to finding the truth and clearing his name, while maintaining his prowess as a skilled fighter. Bridget Fonda plays Jessica, a woman caught in the dangerous web of the corrupt officers. Fonda's character is pivotal to the storyline, as she becomes an ally and a source of support for Liu. She brings depth to the film, offering both vulnerability and strength in a role that could easily have been just a damsel in distress. Checky Cario's portrayal of the villainous Inspector Richard is chilling. His character is manipulative, treacherous, and charismatic in a way that makes him a formidable antagonist. Cario's performance enhances the tension of the film, making Liu's struggle against the system even more compelling. Jet Li's career. By the time Kiss of the Dragon was released, Jet Li had already established himself as a martial arts icon, with a string of successful films in both Hong Kong and Hollywood. Prior to Kiss of the Dragon, Li had starred in The One, 2001, Romeo Must Die, 2000, and The Lethal Weapon 4, 1998, showing audiences that he could blend martial arts with mainstream action. However, Kiss of the Dragon was his chance to really take on a role that emphasized both his acting and martial arts talent, with a deeper, more personal story than some of his previous films. Before his Hollywood success, Jet Li was already a star in Hong Kong, having gained fame with the Once Upon a Time in China series and Fist of Legend. His work in Hong Kong cinema had made him a household name, known for his speed, technical precision, and deep understanding of martial arts choreography. His background in wushu, a form of Chinese martial arts, influenced his on-screen fighting style, which is a seamless blend of athleticism and artistic fluidity. The action. When it comes to Kiss of the Dragon, the martial arts sequences are where the film truly shines. The choreography is masterful, with Jet Li showcasing his trademark quick strikes, graceful yet brutal moves, and impeccable timing. The fight scenes are intense and well-paced, with each one driving the plot forward while showing off Jet Li's expertise in hand-to-hand combat. One standout scene is the fight in the hotel room, where Liu must fight his way through several henchmen while dealing with his own injury. The choreography is complex, fast-paced, and beautifully executed. It's a true showcase of Jet Li's talent, as he doesn't just rely on brute strength, but also on his ability to think on his feet and adapt in the heat of battle. One of the things that makes Kiss of the Dragon different from other action films of its time is the unique use of martial arts. Rather than just using action for spectacle, the fight scenes are designed to tell a story, showing the intelligence and resourcefulness of the protagonist. Liu isn't just physically strong, but he uses his environment and his wits to outsmart and outfight his opponents. Jet Li's stunts and style. Jet Li is known for performing many of his own stunts, and Kiss of the Dragon is no exception. His martial arts training and dedication to realism in his fights make his performances stand out in Hollywood. Unlike some action stars, Jet Li's fight scenes don't rely on special effects or wires, making them feel grounded in reality. He takes on the dangerous and intricate choreography himself, and this dedication brings a level of authenticity to the film that's rare in action cinema. One interesting fact is that during filming, Jet Li's body took quite a beating. He had to be extremely disciplined in terms of his training and conditioning to maintain the stamina required for such a physically demanding role. Conclusion: Kiss of the Dragon is a great example of how Jet Li can balance intense martial arts action with a compelling storyline. His performance as Liu Jian is both physically demanding and emotionally grounded, making him one of the most respected martial artists in film. The film successfully blends action, suspense, and drama, creating a unique viewing experience that showcases Jet Li's talents in a way that many of his other films don't. For fans of martial arts, action films, or Jet Li's career, Kiss of the Dragon is a must-watch. It's a film that highlights his incredible skills while providing a thrilling narrative and unforgettable fight scenes. Whether you're a longtime Jet Li fan or new to his work, this movie is sure to impress. The One 2001 is a science fiction martial arts action film starring Jet Li in dual roles. Directed by James Wong, the movie explores the idea of parallel universes, with Li playing both a heroic character and his evil counterpart. The film mixes action, sci-fi, and some deeper themes of identity, destiny, and the consequences of one person's actions across multiple realities. Plot overview. The story follows Gabe Law, Jet Li, a dedicated cop who discovers that an alternate version of himself from another parallel universe has gone rogue. This alternate version, called Yu-Law, has killed his counterparts across multiple universes, absorbing their energy and becoming increasingly powerful. Yu-Law's ultimate goal is to become the One by killing every version of himself in every universe, thereby making himself the sole entity and gaining godlike power. Gabe, the last remaining version of himself, is the only one who can stop Yu-Law, leading to a final showdown where Gabe must confront his own dark side to preserve the balance of the multiverse. Characters and performances. Jet Li is the driving force of the movie, playing both Gabe and Yu-Law. His portrayal of the two characters allows for some interesting contrasts. Gabe is the law-abiding, good-natured cop who fights to protect others, while Yu-Law is a ruthless, power-hungry villain bent on his own destruction. Li's martial arts skills are showcased through intense fight sequences, and his ability to switch between these two distinct characters adds to the film's appeal. The film also features performances from Carla Gugino, who plays an ally to Gabe, and Delroy Lindo, who plays a mentor figure. Their roles are somewhat underdeveloped, but they serve as necessary support to the story's focus on the battle between the two versions of Li's character. The film doesn't delve too deeply into their backstories, but they help keep the plot moving forward. Themes. The One tackles themes like identity, fate, and the consequences of power. The concept of parallel universes raises questions about choices and how each decision we make can lead to different outcomes in alternate realities. The idea of becoming the One is a metaphor for the dangers of unchecked ambition and the desire to become all-powerful, which is evident in Yu-Law's relentless pursuit of eliminating every version of himself. The movie also explores the idea of duality, good versus evil, light versus dark, and how both sides are interlinked. Gabe's struggle is not just against Yu-Law, but also against the darker impulses within himself, as he must face the evil version of himself in order to save the multiverse. This internal struggle makes the movie more than just a martial arts action flick, adding layers to the character of Gabe. Action and martial arts. As expected, the action in The One is high octane, with Jet Li's martial arts expertise on full display. The fight choreography is fast and fluid, with Li delivering powerful, gravity-defying moves that add to the sci-fi elements of the film. The movie's use of slow motion during fight sequences and the concept of multiple universes allows for some visually exciting scenes, including Jet Li fighting himself. The film's special effects are notable for their time, with the concept of parallel universes being visually realized through effects like the shatter of different dimensions. While the film might not have the polish of other big budget sci fi movies, its action and the concept of Lee battling his own doppelganger make it an engaging experience for martial arts fans. Jet Li's career. By 2001, Jet Li had already established himself as a global martial arts icon. After breaking through with Shaolin Temple in the 1980s and continuing his success with films like Once Upon a Time in China and Fist of Legend, Lee transitioned to Hollywood films like Lethal Weapon 4 and Romeo Must Die. The One marked a departure for Lee, as it introduced him to a wider sci-fi audience, giving him the chance to display not only his martial arts prowess, but also his ability to play dual roles in a high-concept film. While The One is not considered one of Lee's best works, it remains a notable entry in his filmography. Lee went on to star in other films like Hero, The Forbidden Kingdom, and The Expendables, but The One is remembered as one of his more ambitious Hollywood attempts in blending martial arts with science fiction. Similar movies, The One has a unique premise, but its themes and action elements share similarities with several other films from the late 90s and early 2000s. One movie that comes to mind is The Matrix, 1999, another science fiction film that blends martial arts with a complex narrative involving alternate realities and human choices. Both films explore the idea of the individual as a key figure in a larger struggle and question the nature of identity. Another comparison can be made to Looper, 2012, which deals with the concept of alternate timelines and assassins facing their future selves. While Looper is more nuanced and emotionally charged, The One offers a more action-packed and straightforward narrative. For fans of Jet Li's martial arts, The One is a must-watch, though his other films like Fist of Legend or Once Upon a Time in China are likely to be more satisfying for those seeking deeper, more focused martial arts films. Conclusion. The One is a fun action film with a compelling concept, but doesn't necessarily reach the same heights as some of Jet Li's best work. It combines martial arts, sci-fi, and the idea of alternate universes into a relatively straightforward but entertaining story. While it may not have the lasting impact of some other genre-defining films, it remains an enjoyable watch for fans of Jet Li and those who appreciate martial arts films mixed with high-concept science fiction. The themes of identity and fate are thought-provoking, and the action is exhilarating, especially for fans of Lee's martial arts prowess. While the film's plot is at times convoluted, it's a great showcase for Lee's unique talents and an interesting experiment in blending his martial arts skills with a sci-fi narrative. Romeo Must Die, 2000, is an action-packed film that blends martial arts with a modern-day Romeo and Juliet story. Starring Jet Li in one of his breakout Hollywood roles, it's a film that combines martial arts, crime, and a love story into a compelling action vehicle. Plot summary. The story centers around Han, Jet Li, a former police officer from Hong Kong who is seeking revenge for his brother's mysterious death. The investigation brings him to the United States, where he uncovers a war between two rival families, one involved in the Asian American community and the other in the African American community. Han's path crosses with Trish, Aaliyah, the daughter of one of the rival family heads. As their relationship develops, they both find themselves caught in the violent feud between the two families, and their romance mirrors the tragic fate of Shakespeare's famous couple, Romeo and Juliet. Characters. Jet Li plays Han, a character who is strong, skilled, and driven by vengeance. His calm demeanor and expertise in martial arts make him a compelling lead. Aaliyah plays Trish, who is much more than just a damsel in distress. Trish is independent, resourceful, and tough in her own right. Their chemistry is believable, and their relationship adds an emotional layer to the otherwise action-heavy film. The antagonist, played by Isaiah Washington, brings the necessary tension and conflict. His role as a manipulative crime boss works well with the thematic elements of family loyalty and betrayal. The supporting cast includes actors like Anthony Anderson, who brings his comedic touch to a serious film, and Delroy Lindo, who plays Trish's father and a key figure in the family business. Themes. At its core, Romeo Must Die is a story about family, loyalty, and revenge. The movie explores the tragic consequences of interfamily conflict and the price of seeking vengeance. The Romeo and Juliet motif runs throughout the movie, with Han and Trish's love ultimately serving as a symbol of unity between two rival families. The story also reflects themes of cultural identity, loyalty to one's family, and the consequences of unchecked power. The film's action sequences are intense, with Jet Li delivering some memorable fight scenes. It's one of those films where the martial arts aren't just there for spectacle, they serve the narrative. The choreography and direction by Andrei Bartkowiak make the action engaging and gritty, with the martial arts battles highlighting Han's skill and resolve. Romeo Must Die marked a significant moment in Jet Li's Hollywood career. Previously known for his roles in Chinese martial arts films like Once Upon a Time in China and Fist of Legend, this was Jet Li's first major Hollywood project, following up on his success in Lethal Weapon 4, 1998. While his accent and English were still a work in progress, it's clear that his martial arts ability and screen presence were undeniable. As far as similar movies, Romeo Must Die fits within the genre of 2000s action films, blending martial arts with American crime drama. If you like this film, you'll also enjoy Jet Li's later films such as Kiss of the Dragon 2001 and The One 2001, which also blend martial arts with American action movie tropes. For a similar love story meets action feel, Cradle to the Grave 2003, starring Jet Li and DMX, is another must-watch. Another comparison would be to the works of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, both of whom helped bring martial arts cinema to the Western world. While Jet Li's style is often more grounded and direct compared to Jackie Chan's comedic and acrobatic flair, Romeo Must Die shares elements of that crossover appeal. Martial arts action combined with an American sensibility for crime drama and romance. Conclusion: Romeo Must Die is an entertaining and fast-paced action film that blends martial arts with a modern, urban retelling of a Shakespearean classic. Jet Li's performance is solid, Aaliyah adds a spark of emotion to the movie, and the action sequences are brutal and thrilling. While not a perfect film, Romeo Must Die remains an enjoyable watch for fans of Jet Li, action movies, or those who love an interesting twist on classic stories. It may not have the deep narrative or the cultural impact of some other martial arts films, but it's a fun ride with solid action and a fair share of heart. As a part of Jet Li's Hollywood legacy, Romeo Must Die stands as a memorable film that introduced him to Western audiences and remains a cult classic.